Hey, this is Lance with 20 Saturday Night. Today we're going over combat maneuvers. Alright, so before we go into combat maneuvers, I just want to ask who are you guys to go ahead and leave us a like, subscribe if you like our videos, and just share us with your friends if it's something that you want to do. But without too much, combat maneuvers, they start at page 246 of the Starfinder core rulebook, and it gives you a lot of options to do. They're just extra little things that you can do in combat, from moving them on the battlefield to going as far as breaking their weapon. To perform a combat maneuver, it's a standard action, and for each maneuver, you pick like an opponent or a creature, what have you, and within like your reach or the weapon's reach. So like if you have like a extra long pole that has like a 10-foot attack range instead of 5 feet, or what have you, like a long whip or anything, it is a melee attack against the opponent's kinetic armor class +8. And just going down the list, there's Bulrush, Dirty Trick, Disarm, Grapple, Reposition, Sunder, and Trip. A few of my favorites were Dirty Trick, Disarm, and Sunder, so we'll go into those first. Dirty Trick, it's anything from like pocket sand to like the old hockey style. You pull the back of their shirt up over their face so you can get a few good hits in. Or if you're like, you're like gross, you want to spit in their face or anything like that. Your target is blinded, deafened, entangled, off target, shaken, or sickened, your choice, for 1 round plus 1 addition round for every 5. By which the result of your attack exceeds their kinetic armor class +8. I'm just going to call that the maneuvers armor class, so I don't have to keep saying that. The conditions are further explained on page 273, and the target can remove this condition as an action. A Dirty Trick, it's normally a melee attack unless you can convince your DM, hey, I'm throwing pocket sand at him, so instead of 5 feet, can it be 10 feet? And it's in whatever case it would be, just take a -2 penalty to your attack roll for every 5 feet between you and the target. That sort of makes sense. How if you are again pocket sanding somebody, it's 10 feet away or 15 feet away, it's going to spread out and be less likely to affect them. If say you're letting out some sort of noxious bodily odor, it's going to be harder to smell along the way, that sort of thing. Disarm, I liked it a lot. I didn't think I would, but I really do. You can try to knock an item the target's holding out of their hand onto the ground, and if you have a hand free, you can automatically grab it before it falls. This would be good if you're playing a Solarian and you have a lot of good melee defense and offense, and the rest of the people on your team, they're not so martially inclined. Say they're your casters or your support types or what have you. This allows you to rush ahead, disarm whoever's firing at you and your pals with an artillery laser or what have you, or if you just want to steal their weapon because it's a pretty cool battle staff you got there. Gives you the opportunity to do that. Moving into Grapple, this one's a bit of a long one. You're going to hold the target in place. You must have at least 1 hand free to perform a grapple maneuver, so you can't wrap your legs around them or try to bite them to grapple them or anything like that. If you have like a snake body, or if you're some sort of gelatinous creature, maybe that's up to your GM discretion. But your target has a grappled condition, meaning it can't move from their current space, and takes other penalties until it uses a standard action to attempt to get out of your grapple. Or can also make an escape using the acrobatic skill to break free. One thing with this, if you are, say, grappling somebody, they can try a grapple combat maneuver against you, and haha, no, I have you grappled instead. If the result of your attack roll is the same or more than 13 plus their KAC, they're pinned instead, and they can't take any actions that involve moving their limbs other than trying to escape, likely with that acrobatics check. The grappled or pinned condition lasts until your next turn, unless you renew it on your next turn with another grapple combat maneuver check, so re-rolling that, hoping to get above their Maneuvers Armor class, or the 13 plus their KAC if you're trying to pin them. You don't have to choose either or. Just if you happen to get the 13 or above, then they're pinned instead of grapple, but you don't have to call out which one you're doing. As long as you have them grappled or pinned, you can't attempt to, grapple another person. So only one full Nelson at a time. These conditions, grappled and pinned, are on page 276 and 277 along with the others. But when you renew a grapple, you can try to take an item on their body that's, can be taken out pretty easily. Unsheath a sword, rip a weapon out of their holster, maybe take off their glasses and throw them to the other side of the room if it's a creature with glasses. Anything like that. And so that can, lead into more, peril to your enemies. But you can't take off their armor, just because it has to be easily accessible. Armor is not that easy to take off. And so, but if you do this, it immediately ends the grapple. There's repositioning, which I'm not really a fan of this, sort of changing somebody's movement in battle. It never really stuck out to me. If you want to leave down in the comments below how you use reposition and things like this, that'd be great, because I want to like it. I just never really have a reason to use it, like the shove action or anything like that. You can change the target's position to a different location, still within your reach, and within 5 feet of its original movement, like, shoving it to like the side, or, grabbing it, like, sort of trying to move it so that, like, it's slowly into, like, a death beam or what have you. Same thing, roll against the maneuver armor class, but all the movement that you're doing, it has to stay within your reach. And you can't move the target past an obstacle. So you can't, like, push them over cover or through a bramble patch. Maybe if you scream at your DM for long enough, you can push them to that bramble patch, but, that gelatinous cube, it's sort of showing out there, but who's to say? If you do want to reposition a creature as a full action, you can move an equal distance to your reposition's target up to movement speed. So basically, you drag the target with you. Like if it's like a criminal you're chasing, or I don't know, just an elf you're hunting down, you can grab it and sort of drag it back into like your group's clutches. And if you want to be a real monster like that, I like Sunder. Sunder was really cool. You deal damage to an object in the target's hand, or that's, again, accessible on its body, and the object must be something that can be drawn easily, a weapon of some sort, like a data pack. And so the damage is reduced by an amount equal to the object's hardness. Hardness is in the smashing an object section on page 409. Basically trying to break that weapon that they have, or trying to, if they have like some sort of mind control device that they're using to make your party aggressive toward each other so they don't have to fight you directly. If you're Vesk, who's just a big strong guy, who's able to rush up there and just sort of break that, your party will be freed, or just whatever using to break somebody's stuff instead of taking it. Trip is another one of those movement combat maneuvers. You knock them to the ground, and or if the target's in the air, they descend 10 feet. Falling prone, causing it to fall to the ground. A target in 0 gravity is instead knocked off kilter. And then prone and knocked off kilter is again explaining the conditions on page 276 and 277. Finally, we have Bulrush. You knock a target back 5 feet plus an additional 5 feet for every 5 by which the result of your attack exceeds their maneuvers armor class. So basically, if they have a maneuvers armor class of, let's say, 20, and you were able to get them up to, like, you rolled like a 30 on yours, or a 25 or what have you, they would be knocked back like 10 feet or anything more. Again, I don't know too much about why you'd use one of these two for movement, unless something very situational, like a pit trap somewhere, or you want to just you're trying to knock somebody off the side of your ship, or sort of push somebody out of their vehicle during a vehicle chase. They seem very situational for these movement ones and a few others, but at the same time, you're not taking these combat maneuvers as part of your class. It's just extra things you're able to do. So I can't be. It's sort of like being mad at free stuff. I just don't know why I would use some of the movement ones. But if you want to make a case for it, please leave a comment down below, because I would like to like these. No, I just don't. The others are really cool though. Dirty Trick's really cool. Again, thanks for watching 20-Sided Night. Please give us a subscribe, like us if you like us, and tell your friends and enemies about us. Thanks for watching 20-Sided Night, and bye for now.